Hi, everybody. It's the last one. Woohoo! Finish line is here. Woo! All right. Could not be more stoked. On today's episode of the podcast, on today's episode of Unsolicited Advice, I will be talking via Ask Me Anything. So I posted a quiz, not a quiz, a survey or something, a questionnaire, if you will, saying just send me a question. I'll answer it on the podcast on Instagram. And so now I don't really have to do much more than talk about that. But before I do that, I would like to say that this has been so much fun and so satisfying. And so I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about what I got to do to keep the ball rolling and to keep things happening in my life. And I learned that it's just been really cool. I'm trying to think of like huge takeaways. A lot of the questions are the takeaways though from the show. So this today, luckily enough, I have the day off work. So I took a second to get my house in order, which is something that I have kind of allowed myself to slip on since I've had the podcast as an excuse. So I reorganized my room, cleaned my room, started my laundry, going to tackle the car as soon as I wrap this podcast, even though I might save the car for a day where it's not negative degrees. Yeah. What else did we do? I cooked breakfast for a couple of my friends. It's been a great day. I'm going to work out, which I haven't done, sadly, in a month, which I think has helped this podcast because it's made me a little more not narcotic. Neurotic. Thank you. Neurotic. Yep, that's the one. It's just nice. I'm going to get my house in order, and then I've decided that throughout, because this is going to continue. So one of the questions, I'm going to call out people who asked, where is it? Do you have any plans for the podcast once this one's done? Kyle Giel asked that. Giel at Giel5014. This is cool, saying his name out loud. Yeah, I'm going to continue to do unsolicited advice. I'm going to continue to do it just once a week, though. Sometimes it'll come out 2 times a week because my goal is by the end of the year to have 100 podcasts out of this show, which is totally doable. I just basically have to like average out 6 a month, which I can do 30 if need be. So yeah, 100 episodes is the new goal. And whilst doing that, I'm also going to do like this February, I'm going to really focus on getting organized in my life, focus on the working out again, focus on staying, keeping the house in order, both mentally, physically, and literally with my home. And that way, it'll give me stuff to talk about on here. And then also can share like trials and tribulations of that. I'll also like learn, I got to buy Photoshop. I'm going to learn how to do that. I just need to do stuff in my life to give stuff to talk about with you guys. So with that, let's see what everybody's so curious about to ask young Jake here. Let's start at the top. Wokoso, excuse me, of Bitch Kitty. She asks, who has been your favorite guest so far on the podcast? That's a really good question. First and foremost, loved you guys. Loved you and your best friend there, Bitch Kitty. You guys were great. Who's my favorite guest? It's a good question. I think that the guest that surprised me the most was Elijah Banks, and that the guest who I really felt like I was helping a niche of people was Rob Elridge and his little partner in crime, Kristen. So, good first question. Yeah, who has been your favorite podcast guest? I guess those two. What is it like? Oh, I also loved having my family on. Like, my brother didn't want to do it, which is fine, but having my mom and dad on was really cool. Going to Bodega and being able to do that was really cool. Like, just some of the episodes that were for me, that was great. The call-in episode, I thought that was fun for myself. Danny Spain asks, Spain at Spainolas, what's it like being a beast? It's a burden, Danny. It's a big burden. So Many Roads asks, are you in love with Trish Bree's roommate? No. I just wanted to go get breakfast with her, and she said no, and that's okay. No hard feelings. Sorry to call you out like that. Yeesh, that might have been too much. But no turning back now, gang. It's the last day. Justin Paul Villa. Justin asks, who's probably the most frequented guest, what was one of your most defining moments in life that not many people know about? Ooh, that's a good one. Not many people know about. I think that a defining moment in my life that not many people know about would be... I told this once on an AMA, actually. But, it's kind of like a negative story. It was a defining moment, though. I carried around a backpack in 8th grade because I didn't want to go to my locker, because if I didn't go to my locker, I could prolong the amount of mischief I caused in the hallways, which, it's always a goal of mine to cause a lot of mischief, especially when I was in school. That's pretty much my only goal in school. So I'm in the hallways with my backpack on, as usual, and my principal, who kind of had it out for me, who thought I was, I guess she really thought I was in some trouble, she randomly searched me in the middle of the cafeteria. She just starts asking me to empty my pockets and search me, which is totally not allowed. And I didn't really know how to handle it because in 8th grade, despite being a smartass and, a derelict, I didn't do any crimes. I ain't committed any crimes yet, ... But I've never been convicted of anything. I remain innocent. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm serious. I've never been convicted of a crime, but I hadn't even broken the law yet, is my point, except for maybe trespassing or some shit. So she starts searching me, and I really realized at that moment that what you do and who you surround yourself with and how you act can really make people assume shit about you. And that was kind of big. I didn't like it at all. But instead of, hanging out with another crowd or, not carrying my backpack, I kind of doubled down on my behavior because, fuck you, Miss Bontempo. What are you doing searching a kid who's in 8th grade who has never, you know what I mean? Making assumptions is not a good thing, and it can get you in a lot of trouble. And we all do it because we think we've built up this sixth sense of oh, that guy dresses like that, and so he probably does this, and that girl over there, she's Mrs. Prim and Proper and Preppery. She probably would never stab you in the back. But you never know. People are out here snaking everybody, and so don't assume. And if anybody ever tells you anything that your behavior's bad, double down on that behavior. So that's my unsolicited advice for the moment. Tessa asks, what's your favorite emojis? Interracial Santa, black Mr. Claus, white Mrs. Claus. I flop it sometimes, but those two are fun. Eggplant, because it's funny, because now it's been related to male genitalia. What's another good one? Oh, I like the kid looking up. My bad, because I send that one a lot. Justin asks, what is a relationship deal breaker for you? I don't have one. So, I don't think there's one thing that somebody could do that I could cross across all boards. Is you know what I mean? I don't really know. I don't have one. Come one, come all. Hear ye, hear ye. So Many Roads responded, which is Brian. Who do you like living with more, Brian or Tessa? I love you both. For different reasons, because you're different people. Tessa asks another question. What's your favorite thing about Liam? My favorite thing about Liam is that he is he surprises me a lot. He really does. He's he's the fucking man. And he's a great friend, through and through, solid to the core, but he surprises me all the time with some of the stuff he does, and he's very low key about it. He doesn't gesture to the world for attention like I do. He just does it, and it's badass. Oh, respond, Tessa. Another question, a good one though. I mean, not the other ones were good too, but the emoji one was kind of weak. Throwback to your first podcast. What are 2 things to do when you're 24? My first podcast was called What to Do When You're 22, and it was like kind of a career-based podcast. I don't really know. The problem is, and with Unsolicited Advice being the title, I don't. I just they're catchy. You know what I mean? The best podcast name that I know is Hannibal Buress's, and it's The Handsome Rambler. And if I could steal that, I would. And I'm sure I could try to be creative and think of something, but I'm not as creative as I'd like to be. Or I'm just not willing to put in the time and the effort. So, what are 2 things to do when you're 24? Work a lot. I cannot illustrate the fact that I have been more. Busyness attracts busyness, and I don't want to be busy, so I want to use a different word. The most successful times in my life, mentally, physically, never been monetarily successful, unfortunately. One day though, I'll learn how to save and budget, but for another day. The times I feel best, and like the times that I feel like I'm actually being, I don't know, living to my potential, which is a good way to put it, I think. I'm busy. When I only have to go to work at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock at night, and I don't do anything all day, I don't really feel good about having constraints. Is a good thing because then it allows you to break those constraints and like kind of wiggle through the rules, cut it close, do these things. If there's just one thing to do all day, it kind of becomes like, why do anything else? At least in my opinion. So, first thing, stay busy. Second thing is try new things and meet people. Just meet a lot of people. There's so many cool people, and like, it's just as nice to meet people. I love doing it. If you're bad at meeting people and you don't really like doing it, try to get to know the people in your life better. Because I know a couple kids who I've talked to lately who, I can't say I've always tried to talk to the quiet kid at the party, but I do want everybody in the room to like me because I'm needy. So I do talk to a lot of the people. How long I talk to them, however, like, and I hate to say that it's not for an inclusive thing, but I just like to know what everybody's thinking, kind of. So I guess it's inclusive, but it's like selfishly inclusive, to a degree. If you have a hard time, meeting people, just try to be selective. Don't have 100 pennies, have 10 dimes, or 4 quarters, but you know them very well. So that's my advice to y'all. When you're 24, Sham Bissa, who's my friend, buddy Sam Hambisa, he's back on Instagram, which is exciting. What gets you up in the morning? What fuels you? What moves you? Coffee fuels me. What gets you up in the morning? Lately I have a hard time getting out of bed on like just not looking at Instagram for hours. Like it's been a real problem. So I guess no, Instagram's a shitty answer. I like that where I'm at right now. And I'm excited to try to strengthen. So I kind of felt earlier, like in the year, that like I kind of like, they say life's like or success or whatever you want to call it, or just however you want to think about your life is like a pyramid. But I don't like to think of it like that. I like to think of it as one of those Mayan pyramids where it's like giant steps. So I don't ever feel like anything's gradual. It's like one day something's the way it is, and then the next day it's not, right? So one day you're one way, and the next day you're up on this new plane, and you're walking down the plane for a while, and you got to figure it out, and it's new and it's different. And so being in a new place with career choices and the podcast and all this opportunity coming my way, which I'm so blessed and grateful for, I want to live up to what I think I can do. And I think I can do a little bit more. So, what moves you? Music. To finish the question. Jamie McCorrick, best beer in Cleveland. I don't know. I guess platform. I don't really like beer. I'm a vodka man. Vodka, water, and whiskey, and tequila. Because beer, like there's freedom in beer, there's truth in wine, and then there's no, what is it? There's freedom in beer, truth in wine, and I'm gonna have to ignore your call there, Benny. Septic in the water. That's Ben Franklin because they couldn't drink water. I don't know. That was bad. I drink liquor, my friend. Brad Slimson responded to your question. What was your most humbling moment on this journey? Love it. Love to listen. Keep it up. Thanks, Brad. It's really nice of you, man. My most humbling experience, but it was also my best experience, was or moment was when I didn't make it on in time to put it up on the show, and it sucked. It was a really bad feeling. I felt like I failed myself. But what I did was and this was weird. It was like an instinct. I grabbed I grabbed my phone, went to Instagram stories, 11:59 to 12. I recorded, and then I recorded my reactions, and it was very authentic and real. And it was probably the most authentic I've ever been in front of like an audience of, I don't know, 100 people or whatever it is that watch my stories. And so that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool moment for me. The Phantom Reality. That's a crazy name. How often do you dance? All the time. Yeah, I dance quite a bit. The Nude Blogger, who's going to be on the podcast today, which will start my weekly broadcasting, Zhao Mei. If all airline tickets were only $200, where would you fly to and why? I would fly to Cuba, because I'm curious, I guess. I don't know. Lately, I have no interest in traveling. I'm good. I don't want to. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I have no interest. Vegan or non-vegan? I eat meat. But I do eat a lot of vegetarian. I probably eat vegetarian like twice a day, maybe. If I don't eat protein in every meal. I think that's just a weird thing that just started in culture. I don't think it's necessary. And by the time I'm 25 or 26, I'm going to cut down red meat like almost exclusively out of my diet because it's not that good for you sometimes. Or at least, see, the diet thing's weird. I was a huge health nut for a while when I was a sophomore in college. I read books on it. Listened to podcasts about it, worked out all the time, read blog posts about it, read articles, tried different diets and all this. And what I have determined is that you just eat a balanced diet and try to eat 80% of the time, eat healthy, and the rest of the times eat garbage. Not garbage, but like ice cream and candy and shit, and you'll live forever. A lot of the people that I know that are the oldest people in the world been eating like liverwurst, smoking cigarettes, and drinking vodka. Shout out to Mr. Young. He drinks a pack and smokes a bottle a day, and he's like 90. I don't know. And when I feel good, it's just when I feel good. I try to eat bread later at night because it is a lot of carbs to process and a lot of complex carbohydrates, so it kind of like calms me down because my mind will race if I eat like a lot of vegetables and fish and stuff. I'll just think too hard. My brain runs too hot. What is your number one goal to achieve for 2019? Those were all great questions, Xiaomei. Thank you. My number one goal to achieve for 2019 is to do 100 episodes of this podcast, and then I also have a cooking show that I'm trying to launch, just like an on-camera show. I don't really know all the logistics yet, and I don't really want to share them all yet, but that'll be really fun. And then I'm going to have my goal is to have 3 shows that I guess I just produce myself by the end of the year I don't know, I just want to do it, so I'm going to try it out. Alexander Francesco, excellent wedding photographer here in town. Which would you rather own, a castle or an island? I don't know, that Fire Festival documentary makes me think having an island would be pretty fucking cool. But yeah, probably an island. I've never really needed a big house. It's never been high on my priorities. I kind of get creeped out by big houses anyway, so probably an island. He also asks, which superpower would you rather have? Fly at 20 miles an hour or run at 1,000 miles an hour? I could probably the running at 1,000 miles an hour sounds really like it would take a lot of like training. Like that's really fast. You could probably do more with that. Hell, you could probably even run on water with that speed. But flying has always seemed romantic, so probably fly, even if I'm flying slowly. I drive like a grandma anyway, so I've never been one for speeding. Well, I like it when I'm in a car and the person's speeding. I don't want to be in control of that. You know what I mean? If you could bring back one extinct animal, what would it be and why? Asks again Alexander Francesco, wedding photographer here in town. The buffalo are back. There used to be Great Plains lions, but now they're just mountain lions. The giant sloth, just because I think that'd probably be very fun to Instagram with one day. What was your first impression of me? Asks Anthony from Standard. I don't know, bro. That's an interesting question. Let's think back. You were really nice, and kind of like You've always wanted to bring everybody in the group, like joke wise, or you always went and got stuff for us while we were working doubles and things. So probably that you're just a nice guy. Yeah, damn, that was a cool question. I kind of like that a lot now that I think about it. All right, cool. I got like 3 more. Kind of a short survey. That's okay though. 21 minutes is more than enough time to talk on my last episode. I gotta continue to clean my room. Kristen asks, hold on, I'm trying to get her whole name. Kristen McKee. She asks, if you had to pick one word to define you or sum up your life, you pick. What would it be? Procrastination comes to mind immediately. Wannabe. Procrastinator. Through and through. Distracted. ADD. Hyperactive. Kinda. Because I would never I am a spaz in the sense that I will just like spaz out and not shut the fuck up. But as Nio and Miko pointed out yesterday, that my superpower would be just unstoppable talking. I think procrastinator is a good one. To a degree. Right up to the deadline. I don't know. That's a good question. I got to think of a better answer. I'm going to ask another one. And then go back to it maybe. Kung Fu Benny Lam asks, what keeps you motivated? I think that the story you tell yourself each day is very important. And to make that story come true, you have to do the things that character would do. And I think that I want to do great things, and I want to tell myself, how do I say this? To be like a legend, you got to be legendary, right? So, and it sounds very bro-y to say that, and probably kind of fraternal, but to be, a legend, you got to be legendary. I don't want to be a legend of lore, you know what I mean? But I would like to have want to do big shit, man. So that just, and if you think of yourself as the hero of your own movie, to quote Joe Rogan, you got to think, what would the hero do? You know what I mean? Would he sit in bed for another 2 hours, or, would he get up and try to do something? So that's what I try to tell myself is, what would the hero do? Elijah Banks asks, when are you going to make the full-time jump? That is an interesting question, Elijah, and depending on how some things go in the next 2 months here, might be sooner than we think. I like to think I already made I kind of like to pat myself on a little bit on the back. I already think I made the jump when I dropped out, because it kind of closed off some doors but opened a lot of other ones. I'm sure I could still get a job at Progressive or something or Nationwide if I really tried to, but no need to yet. So let's just keep the ball rolling. Is there another question that just came in? No, just people reacting to the Instagram story I just did, which was a little crazy. Might not keep that up for long. That's all I got. That's all the questions. I think I answered them all. Kristen, I would sum up my life with procrastination. Wait until the last minute, and usually it gets done. Whew. This is done. I don't have to do this tomorrow. It's a weird feeling. I'll probably want to, tell you the truth. I really enjoy it. And the support and love and some of the cool serendipitous moments. I'll share. Okay, so I was at a bar. I was at Bodega, and Emily walks up to me, and she shows me that she's listening to me on the podcast. That was, she was listening to my podcast. That was a huge moment. That was really cool. People from high school texted me who I didn't even know still had my number, saying, like, glad to see you're doing it again. Keep it up. My mom and dad being so interested. I'm not surprised by that, but it's always nice. I think the last thing I really want to say is that if you've listened to one of my episodes, if you've liked a picture, if you've just said anything to me on the street about it or in person, thank you so much, really, like from the bottom of my heart, for just supporting me in any kind of way. It's really amazing to see. Like, it just fills me up with a lot of great emotions. And yeah, I don't know how to. I won't see you tomorrow, but I love you, and I'll see you soon, just next week. All right, bye everybody.
We're sipping coffee, you're in my front seat. Please tell me what's going on in that pond. I've known you for a long time. I'm not always right, I'm only trying to be nice with my unsolicited advice. Unsolicited advice.